Welcome to my channel. Subscribe and enjoy my new stories every day. The morning sun streamed through the kitchen window, casting a warm glow across the table where I sat with my coffee, attempting to shake off the lingering fog of sleep. My mind drifted back to the night before. Vanessa's laughter echoed in my head, a sound I cherished. She had returned late from a girls' night out, her cheeks flushed with excitement. Yet, a nagging feeling had stirred within me, whispering that something was amiss. I had almost convinced myself I was being paranoid, but as I gathered my things to head out for the day, I noticed a flicker of something unusual beneath the passenger seat of the car. Curiosity piqued, I leaned down to grab it. My heart sank as I pulled out a crumpled pair of movie tickets dated for last night, tickets to a film we had never talked about. With trembling hands, I fished out a small receipt from a restaurant I'd never even heard of. The realization hit me like a cold wave. My suspicions, which I had pushed aside, came rushing back with a vengeance. Was Vanessa being unfaithful to me? I shoved the items back into the car and took a moment to collect my thoughts. The cafe where we had our first date came to mind, the dimly lit space filled with whispers and laughter. It was supposed to be our spot, a sacred place where we forged countless memories together. But here I was, holding evidence that she had been somewhere else, with someone else. Determined to find out the truth, I decided to take action. It was time to get serious. I installed a GPS tracker in the car, careful to make sure she wouldn't notice. It was a risky move, one that felt like an invasion of her privacy, but my gut was screaming that I needed to know. If she was cheating, I had to confront her with undeniable proof. Days turned into a tense blur as I waited for the GPS data to come through. My mind raced with possibilities, visions of her laughing and holding hands with another man flashing before me. I tried to carry on with my daily routine, but every little thing seemed to remind me of her. The way she brushed her hair back or the way she smiled, were those the same smiles she shared with me, or were they meant for someone else? Finally, the day arrived when the GPS data pinged on my phone. I could hardly contain my nerves as I opened the app, my heart pounding in my chest. The map showed her car parked outside the same restaurant, the one I had found on the receipt. My stomach churned as I watched the time tick by, the confirmation of my worst fears inching closer. Moments later, the app updated, revealing a new location, a hotel. I blinked in disbelief, the world around me blurring. This was it, irrefutable evidence of her betrayal. Rage washed over me like a tidal wave, fueling a fire that burned deep within my gut. I had trusted her, believed in our love, and here she was, throwing it all away for some fleeting thrill. That evening, when she returned home, I was waiting for her. The door creaked open, and there she stood, her expression brightening as she saw me. But that light quickly dimmed when she noticed the look on my face. "Hey, babe. How was your day?" she asked, her voice tinged with false cheer. "Sit down, Vanessa," I said, my voice steady despite the storm brewing inside me. "What's wrong?" Her brow furrowed in confusion as she took a seat at the table. "I found these under the seat of the car." I slid the crumpled movie tickets and the receipt across the table. The color drained from her face as she picked them up, her eyes darting from the items to me, panic evident in her gaze. "Those. I can explain," she stammered, her voice faltering. "Can you? Because it looks like you've been enjoying some nights out without me." My hands balled into fists, every ounce of betrayal tightening around my chest. "I went out with my friends." "I swear," she pleaded, her voice rising in desperation. "Is that why you were parked at a hotel? I didn't realize your friends were staying there, too." I leaned forward, my anger boiling over. "This isn't just a simple girls' night out, Vanessa. You've crossed a line, and I can't just ignore it." She opened her mouth to argue, but the words caught in her throat. In that moment, I saw the truth reflected in her eyes, fear mingled with guilt. I had never seen her like this, and it struck a chord deep within me. "I never wanted to hurt you," she finally said, her voice barely above a whisper. "No, you just wanted to betray me instead," I shot back, the bitterness in my tone unmistakable. The weight of my rage became a palpable force between us, pushing us further apart. That night marked the beginning of the end for us. With every argument that followed, with every painful truth laid bare, I steeled myself for what lay ahead. Revenge was not just a thought, it became my resolve. I wanted to make her feel the same pain she had inflicted on me. We would divorce, and our paths would part forever, of that, I was certain. As I lay in bed that night, my mind racing with plans for the future, I felt a sense of calm wash over me. I was no longer a victim of her deceit, I would reclaim my life, and she would regret the day she chose to betray me. The fight had just begun, and I was ready to unleash my fury. The morning after our explosive confrontation, I wake up with a sense of purpose. The sunlight filters through the blinds, casting striped shadows across the room. I glance at Vanessa, still asleep, her chest rising and falling in a steady rhythm. For a brief moment, I contemplate the life we built together, but that notion is quickly overshadowed by the memories of last night's betrayal. I slide out of bed quietly, determined to stick to my plan. I need to prepare myself for what comes next, for the confrontation that will unravel everything. As I move through the house, I grab my phone and scroll through the GPS app again, reliving the evidence that confirmed my worst fears. Each ping on that map becomes a reminder of the lies she told, the promises broken. After a quick shower, I throw on a pair of jeans and a t-shirt, then head to the kitchen. The coffee machine hums to life, filling the air with the rich aroma of brewing coffee, a small comfort in the chaos of my thoughts. I pour myself a steaming cup and lean against the counter, trying to steady my racing heart. When Vanessa finally stirs, she finds me in the kitchen, the tension palpable between us. She glances at me, uncertainty etched across her face. "Good morning," she says softly, her voice cautious, as if testing the waters. "Is it?" I respond, not bothering to hide my bitterness. "What time do you plan on leaving for your next girls' night?" Her eyes widen, and for a moment, it seems she's searching for the right words. "I told you last night, it was just a mistake." I was confused. Confused? I interrupt, incredulous. Confused about what? The lies? The cheating? Because I have a hard time believing you were confused while you were at that hotel. Vanessa fidgets, glancing at her phone, then back at me. "I don't know how to make you understand. I never meant to hurt you. It just happened. It just happened." I echo, the anger bubbling back to the surface. "You went to a hotel. You bought movie tickets. This isn't some spontaneous decision, this is a calculated betrayal." She shifts uncomfortably, her eyes darting away from mine. "I was lonely, okay? You've been so wrapped up in work, and I felt neglected." Neglected? My voice rises, my frustration boiling over. "You think going behind my back is the solution? You should have talked to me instead of running to someone else." Vanessa opens her mouth to argue but stops short. Instead, her shoulders slump, and I can see the fight draining out of her. "What do you want me to say?" she finally asks, her voice barely above a whisper. I lean in, my eyes locking onto hers. "I want you to admit that you were wrong. That you chose someone else over me. And then, I want you to leave." A silence hangs in the air, heavy and suffocating. She stares at me, a mix of shock and disbelief crossing her features. "You want me to leave? Just like that?" "Yes," I reply firmly. "You've already made your choice. Now I'm making mine." Vanessa shakes her head, tears brimming in her eyes. "Please don't do this. I can change. I'll make it right." "Change? How can I believe anything you say?" I counter, the pain in my chest hardening into resolve. "This isn't just some petty argument, you've broken my trust. I love you, she pleads, desperation creeping into her tone. Love? What you did wasn't love. It was betrayal. I take a deep breath, trying to steady my emotions. I can't do this anymore, Vanessa. I deserve better. Her shoulders shake as she fights back tears, but I can't let pity sway me. I've spent too many nights doubting myself and our relationship. I turn my back on her, my heart pounding in my chest as I walk toward the door. Where are you going? She calls after me, her voice cracking. I'm going to the office, I say without looking back. And when I come home, I expect you to be gone. I leave the house, slamming the door behind me. The crisp morning air bites at my skin, but I welcome the chill as I get into my car. I drive to the office, my mind racing with thoughts of revenge. I need a plan, a way to make her feel the pain she caused me. As I park, my phone buzzes with a text from a number I don't recognize. Curiosity piques my interest as I open it. We need to talk. It's about Vanessa. My heart races. Who could this be? I quickly reply, who is this? Someone who knows what she's been up to. The reply comes almost instantly. Meet me at the cafe near your office in an hour. I hesitate, torn between curiosity and caution. What could this person know that I don't? But deep down, a part of me yearns for more information. If this is another breadcrumb in the trail of her deceit, I need to follow it. When the time arrives, I head to the cafe, anticipation thrumming in my veins. As I enter, I scan the room, searching for a familiar face. Then I spot a woman sitting alone at a table in the corner. Her dark hair frames a face I recognize, a former coworker of Vanessa's, someone I barely knew but who had always seemed nice enough. Tom, she says, her voice barely above a whisper as I approach. Yeah. You said you know something about Vanessa? I ask, keeping my voice steady. She glances around nervously, as if afraid someone might overhear us. I don't want to get involved, but I saw her with someone, at the same hotel you found on the receipt. Who? I demand, the tension building inside me. I can't say for sure, but it looked like one of her coworkers. A guy named Mark. He's been flirting with her for months, she says, her voice low. The mention of Mark sends a surge of anger through me. I always thought he was just a harmless friend. Now, I realize he's the embodiment of my wife's betrayal. Thank you for telling me, I say, my jaw clenched. As I leave the cafe, a new determination fuels my anger. This isn't just about my marriage anymore, it's about taking back control of my life. I feel a plan beginning to form, a way to expose Vanessa for who she truly is. I pull out my phone and start typing a message, my fingers dancing across the screen. Mark, we need to talk. Meet me at the bar tonight. I have something to discuss. Tonight, everything changes. I won't just let her walk away from this unscathed. I'll make sure she knows that betrayal has consequences. And with each step I take, I'm one step closer to reclaiming my power. The sun dips below the horizon, casting an orange glow across the city as I drive to the bar. Each red light feels like an eternity, each tick of the clock a reminder of the storm brewing inside me. Tonight, I'm not just meeting Mark, I'm reclaiming my narrative. I grip the steering wheel tighter, the leather creaking beneath my fingers as the city lights flicker to life around me. Arriving at the bar, I find a spot in the parking lot that allows me to watch the entrance. I sit in my car for a moment, taking a deep breath to steady my nerves. This isn't just a casual conversation, this is a confrontation. The thought of facing Mark sends a rush of adrenaline through me. He's been the shadow lurking in the corner of my life, and now it's time to pull back the curtain. I step out of the car, the sound of gravel crunching beneath my shoes as I make my way to the entrance. The bar is buzzing with energy, laughter, clinking glasses, and music fill the air. I scan the room and spot Mark sitting at the bar, his back turned to me, oblivious to the storm that's about to hit. Mark, I say as I approach, my voice laced with cold determination. He turns slowly, surprise washing over his face as recognition dawns. Tom. What are you doing here? His expression shifts to one of cautious curiosity. I think you know why I'm here, I reply, keeping my tone even. We need to talk about Vanessa. His demeanor changes instantly, wariness creeping into his eyes. I'm not sure what you mean. Cut the crap, Mark, I interrupt, my voice low but firm. I know you've been seeing her. The tension in the air thickens, and for a moment, we simply stare at each other. Look, it's not what you think, he starts, but I'm not interested in his excuses. Then what is it? I lean closer, lowering my voice. Because from where I stand, it looks like you've been having your fun at my expense. He shifts in his seat, discomfort evident on his face. Tom, I didn't mean for it to happen. Vanessa and I were just hanging out. Hanging out? I scoff, disbelief flooding my senses. You don't get to play innocent here. You knew she was married. You knew what you were doing. I thought she was unhappy with you. She said she was, Mark starts, but I cut him off again. Did she mention that she came home to me every night? I fire back, anger bubbling just beneath the surface. Did she tell you about our life together? About the love we built? Or were you too busy enjoying the thrill of being with someone else's wife? Mark falters, and for a brief moment, I see regret flicker in his eyes. I didn't want to hurt you, he finally says, his voice barely above a whisper. Too late for that, I retort, my heart racing. You've hurt me. You've crossed a line that you can't uncross. And now you're going to face the consequences. What do you want? He asks, confusion mingling with fear in his gaze. I want you to understand what you've done, I say, leaning in closer, lowering my voice even more. I want you to know that this isn't just a game to me. This is my life you've meddled with, and I won't let you get away with it. He swallows hard, the reality of the situation sinking in. Tom, please, he pleads, his voice trembling. I didn't mean to get involved with her. It just happened. Enough with the excuses, I snap, standing up straight. I want you to tell her the truth. I want you to confess what you've done and how you've betrayed me. Mark's face pales, and he glances around the bar, as if searching for a way out. You can't be serious. I can't just. Either you do this, or I'll make sure everyone knows the truth, I threaten, my voice low and dangerous. I'll tell your boss, your friends, everyone. You'll be the guy who got involved with a married woman, and you'll lose everything. Mark's eyes widen in horror, and I can see the realization washing over him. Okay, he stammers. I'll talk to her. I'll tell her the truth. Just don't do anything crazy. Good, I reply, satisfied for now. But know this, I'll be watching you. If you try to spin this in any way, I'll expose you. With that, I turn on my heel and stride out of the bar, leaving Mark behind. The cool night air greets me as I step outside, a refreshing contrast to the heated exchange. I pull out my phone and shoot Vanessa a quick text. We need to talk. I know everything. The message sent, I get into my car and drive home, my heart still racing. The confrontation with Mark felt like a victory, but I know the real battle lies ahead. I have to face Vanessa again, and this time, I won't be backing down. When I arrive home, I find Vanessa sitting on the couch, her eyes red from crying. She looks up as I walk in, her expression a mix of fear and defiance. Did you talk to him? She asks, her voice trembling. Yeah, I reply, my heart pounding as I step closer. And I want you to hear the truth from me. You're not the only one with a story to tell. She narrows her eyes, confusion flashing across her face. What do you mean? I take a deep breath, the weight of the moment heavy on my shoulders. Mark is going to tell you everything. He's going to admit that he's been seeing you behind my back. No, she whispers, shaking her head in disbelief. You can't do this. Too late, I say, my voice steady. This is your reckoning, Vanessa. You've lived in a world of lies for too long, and now you're going to face the consequences. Her face contorts with anger and fear, but I stand my ground. I'm done being the fool in this situation. You chose this path, and now I'm choosing mine. What do you want from me? She cries, her voice breaking. Honestly? I want you to feel the pain you've caused. I want you to understand that betrayal doesn't come without a price. Tears stream down her cheeks as she realizes the gravity of the situation. Tom, please, let's just talk about this. There's nothing left to talk about. I'm done. You've made your choices, and now it's time for me to make mine. As I turn away, the sound of her sobs echoing in my ears, I know that this is only the beginning. I'm reclaiming my power, step by step. The road ahead may be painful, but I refuse to let her deceit dictate my future. The intrigue of my life is shifting, and I'm ready to embrace the change. The revenge I seek is just within my grasp, and I won't stop until I've taken back everything she's tried to destroy. The days that followed my confrontation with Mark felt like a whirlwind of emotions. Vanessa and I moved through the motions of our daily lives like ghosts, each interaction fraught with tension and unspoken accusations. I could see the guilt gnawing at her, but it only fueled my resolve. I was done pretending that everything was fine. One night, I find myself pacing in our living room, my mind racing with thoughts of revenge. The betrayal had cut deep, and I refused to allow Vanessa or Mark to walk away unscathed. I've spent sleepless nights plotting my course of action, and now I'm ready to execute my plan. I text Mark, meet me at the bar tonight. I need to settle this. He replies almost instantly, his eagerness evident. Okay, I'll be there. As the evening rolls in, I dress sharply, feeling a sense of determination wash over me. I'm no longer the naive husband, I've transformed into a man who has lost everything, and now it's time to make them pay. I step into my car, my pulse quickening with anticipation as I drive to the bar where I first confronted Mark. When I arrive, I take a seat at the bar and order a drink, my eyes scanning the crowd. The atmosphere is lively, laughter ringing out as people enjoy their night. But all I can think about is the darkness lurking just beneath the surface of my life. Mark arrives, looking nervous, his eyes darting around as he spots me. Hey, he says, attempting to sound casual. What's going on? I motion for him to sit, my expression unyielding. You know why I asked you to come. We need to finalize things. Mark's face pales. Tom, I told you I would talk to Vanessa. I'll tell her everything, just give me some time. Time? I scoff. You think I'm going to let this drag on? You and I both know this has to end tonight. Look, I never wanted it to get this far, he pleads, his voice quavering. I didn't mean to hurt you. Didn't mean to. That's rich coming from you. I lean forward, my voice low and dangerous. You think you can just waltz into my life and ruin it without consequences? Mark shifts uncomfortably in his seat. What do you want from me? I smirk, a cruel satisfaction washing over me. I want you to feel the weight of your actions. I want you to know that I'm not going to let you walk away unscathed. Before he can respond, I pull out my phone and show him a video I've recorded, footage of Mark and Vanessa together, laughing, holding hands, enjoying a meal at the restaurant I never got to visit with her. The betrayal plays out in front of his eyes, and I can see the color drain from his face. What the hell is this? He gasps, panic setting in. This, Mark, is your downfall. I'm sending this to everyone in your life, the office, your family, your friends. Everyone will know what kind of man you are. No. You can't do that, he cries, desperation filling his voice. Oh, but I can, I say, relishing the power I now hold. And I will. As Mark's protests grow louder, I turn my attention to the door. Vanessa steps inside, her expression confused as she scans the room. When her eyes lock onto mine, I see a flash of fear. She strides over, her voice a mix of anger and desperation. "Tom, what's going on?" "Just having a little chat with your boyfriend," I reply, my tone icy. She whips her head around to Mark, her eyes wide. "What did he say?" "Nothing," he stammers, sweat beading on his forehead. "Nothing?" I echo, a wicked grin creeping across my face. "I think he's been quite chatty. Isn't that right, Mark?" Vanessa's gaze darts between us, realization dawning. "What did you do?" she breathes, fear lacing her voice. "Only what you both deserve." I pull out my phone again and show her the video, watching her face contort with horror. "This is the evidence of your betrayal. And I plan on sharing it." "You wouldn't," she gasps, tears pooling in her eyes. "Oh, I absolutely would," I reply, my voice cold. "You both thought you could just erase me from your lives, but you were wrong. I will expose the truth." Mark stands abruptly, panic etched on his face. "Tom, please, let's just talk about this." "Talk." "There's nothing left to say," I say, my anger boiling over. "You've both made your choices, and now you'll face the consequences." Just then, a man in a suit approaches our table, having overheard our conversation. "Is everything all right here?" he asks, concern evident in his voice. I turn to him, a sudden idea sparking in my mind. "Not quite. This man has been cheating with my wife. I'm about to expose him for who he really is." The man's expression shifts to shock, glancing between us. "Is this true?" he asks Mark, who stutters and shifts uncomfortably. "This isn't what it looks like," Mark pleads. "Save it," I say, reveling in the chaos I'm creating. "Everyone deserves to know what kind of person you really are." With that, I pull out my phone and send the video to my contacts. My heart races as I hit send, the satisfaction of revenge flooding my veins. I watch as the man in the suit's expression changes to one of disdain, his judgment heavy in the air. "You're a disgrace," he says to Mark, turning away with a shake of his head. "I can't believe I associated with you." Vanessa's face falls, her fear transforming into anger. "You think this is over, Tom? You think ruining our lives will make you feel better? It's not just about me anymore, Vanessa. It's about accountability." I straighten my posture, feeling a sense of power I haven't felt in weeks. "You chose betrayal, and now you'll both have to live with the consequences." As I turn to leave, I hear Vanessa's voice rise behind me, filled with bitterness. "You'll regret this, Tom. You're destroying everything we had." I pause, a wave of emotions crashing over me. What we had was built on lies. There's nothing left to salvage. I step out of the bar, the cool night air hitting my face, leaving behind the chaos and the heartbreak. I walk toward my car, feeling a mix of triumph and sorrow wash over me. I've taken my revenge, but it's bittersweet. As I drive away, I glance in the rearview mirror, seeing the bar fading into the distance. I realize that I've not only lost my wife and her lover, but I've lost a part of myself in this twisted game of betrayal. The weight of my actions presses heavily on my chest. In the end, I've exposed their deception, but the path of vengeance has come at a cost. I'll never be able to reclaim what was lost, and as I drive into the night, I understand that the true tragedy lies not in their betrayal, but in the love that was destroyed in the wake of it. I pull into my driveway, the house looming before me, and I realize that I am utterly alone. The man who sought revenge has emerged, but the man who loved deeply has vanished, swallowed by the very darkness I sought to escape. And as I step inside, the weight of betrayal hangs heavy in the air, a reminder of the love I once knew and the bitter end it has met.